Saints offensive coordinator Klint Kubiak talks facing the Panthers, and Trevor Penning, the king of the universe, the GOAT, my king, my president, Klint Kubiak. Ladies and gentlemen, we are leading up to kickoff. Week 1, Carolina Panthers, New Orleans Saints. What shirt is Klint Kubiak wearing? Is it a t-shirt over a sweatshirt? Is it a sweatshirt that looks like a t-shirt? The more I look at it, the more confused I get. At first, I thought he was wearing an extra, extra large t-shirt over a sweatshirt, but now I'm starting to think that it's actually just a sweatshirt. If it's a sweatshirt, why does it look like a t-shirt? Why does it look like it has a zipper on the sleeve to make it short sleeve or long sleeve? What's going on here? I need answers. I have a feeling we won't get those answers in this interview. Instead, we'll get the answers about the New Orleans Saints and the Carolina Panthers. That is a deal. That is a negotiation I'm willing to make. Are you nervous? I'm nervous. Are you high right now? Just kidding. No, I'm not. I would take a test. I'm not. I'm locked in. Okay? I'm locked in. Ladies and gentlemen, week 1 of the New Orleans Saints season is right upon us. Let's hear what Klint Kubiak has to say. And you better believe I'm going to react along the way. Woo!
All right. Ready to roll when y'all are.
Stands out about the Panthers and that defense.
What? What was the question? Was that guy passing out mid-question? What did he say?
The Panthers and that stands out about the Panthers and that defense.
Okay, what a question. He said, what stands out about the Panthers and that defense? I mean, it sounded like he was saying the question as he was doing this. Like he was like fading out of the question. That was bananas and pajamas. I'll tell you something about the Panthers defense. I'm the only one that's been saying this, so I'm going to say it again. Bunch of new moving pieces. Bunch of good players out. New green dot. I'm the only person saying it, but big deal. Okay? What do I mean by that? The person who was wearing their green dot last year. The green dot is the one defensive player who gets the communications from the DC, who then communicates to the rest of the team. It's basically the quarterback of the defense. The guy who was wearing the green dot last year, he's gone pecan. New green dot, new communication is what is going to be going on for the Panthers. Also, Panthers have zero familiarity with the Saints offense. As far as a divisional game, this is as non-familiar of an opponent as you can possibly get. But James, first of all, quit slobbering all over yourself. But James, the Panthers have a new head coach and a new offense too. The Saints are unfamiliar with them. Wrong. That offense came from the Tampa Bay, the Buccaneers, the Succaneers, as some would say. I wouldn't say that, but some would say that. Canales came from the Bucs. Saints have had plenty to go off of to prepare for Canales and the Panthers offense. There is nothing besides a little baby bit of preseason that the Panthers can use to prepare for the Saints.
Really well coached. I think they, I know Coach Ejiro from working with him in Denver, have a lot of respect for him.
Ejiro, this is his second year as DC of the Panthers.
And you can tell the way his players play and the way he teaches is spectacular. So they're very disciplined, very sound defense.
What do you think of the way that they revamped their pass rush, bringing in Clowney and?
So Jadeveon Clowney, obviously, is the big get from Baltimore. Unimpactful, some would say.
Yeah, we got a lot of respect for Clowney, I think 95 is an excellent player. They've made improvements to their roster just like we have. So. Look forward to the competition this weekend.
Is that a good test for your offensive line right away?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Every week's a test for the offensive line.
Yeah, excited to see our five play together. Put a lot of hard work in the offseason, and now look forward to their reward, which is Sunday.
Clint, how hard is it to find the time and the effort in a practice week to develop one young quarterback, much less two, how do you try to place an importance on that compared to getting ready for a game?
Yeah, limited reps, limited to none. It's very small. And I would give a ton of credit to Andrew Janoko. He's a phenomenal teacher, phenomenal coach.
I think development kind of happens organically, because like Clint said, you have very limited reps in a game prep week. So Janoko, as the quarterback's coach, is going to have to be the one that's teaching, and when he's talking, it better be impactful. He's got to be developing just kind of alongside everything else that they're doing. So it is a very difficult thing to do, but it's got to happen organically for sure.
It's there with them early, way before the starter gets in the building, gets them out of practice early, gets them after practice, gets them between periods, and that's what the best you can do is just maximize the time before, after, and in between offensive team periods.
You've obviously worked for a lot of different organizations and under a lot of different coaches. I mean, is it a situation thing to find someone who decides that's important?
Could you rephrase that a little?
Man, that's funny. I was about to say, what the hell was the question? Yeah, I got to listen back to that damn question.
The time before, after, and in between offensive team periods.
You've obviously worked for a lot of different organizations and under a lot of different coaches. I mean, is it a situation thing to find someone who decides that's important?
I think what the question is do different coaches put more or less emphasis on developing young players? Which I would think, yeah. I would think some coaches could care less. I would think some coaches want to win, and that's what they're focused on 100%. And developing other players, who cares? I'll worry about that later. Whereas other coaches probably want to develop alongside, and they do put an emphasis on developing their younger players.
Can you rephrase that a little?
Is it case-by-case basis when certain coaches or certain organizations believe it's important to dedicate that time and resources to doing like that?
I do agree with that, and I know Coach Allen especially spends a lot of time with us as coaches and making sure that we have a plan for each player, and having a pre-practice plan, post-practice plan, meeting with them extra. That comes from the head coach and from Mickey Loomis. So, and that's something that's important to us as well. So I think it's we're all on the same page as how important it is to develop those guys.
And then in this situation, specifically with two young quarterbacks, how important is we have to name a backup quarterback versus we want to care about the competition and the development between these two guys?
Yeah,
I would think they care way more about the development of the two guys and the competition between the two guys. Who cares about who is number 2 on the depth chart? Who cares about who's number 3 on the depth chart? It just doesn't matter. It's one of those things that does not matter at all unless you are in a fantasy football league where your backup quarterback gets points. But besides that, I mean, really, what does it matter?
I think there would be that competition regardless, and I would leave.
Yeah, there better be. I mean, if they said, "Hey, Jake Haener's the backup, Rattler's the 3," I would hope Haener's not like, "Ha, I got the win. All right, cool. My job is done. I'm officially the next one up." Like, that can change in any second.
Leave those decisions up to DA, and we're going to work with them the exact same, no matter which one we would name, because we have so much respect for both those young guys. They're going to be good players.
Alvin was saying that he was in your ear a lot while you were trying to call plays. What do you make of that experience?
Yeah, so that was in the Alvin Kamara interview we covered. Alvin mentioned that he was always hovering around Kubiak, asking him his thoughts and just trying to get in his head a little bit of, like, philosophy-wise, like, how's he seeing plays? The
last preseason game, I wouldn't say that. I enjoy the banter back and forth with him. He's such a bright player. I really enjoy picking his brain, and he doesn't talk so much, to me at least. So it's good to get those moments with him on the sideline, and he really lights up when you start talking football. So that's a really fun part of his personality.
You said that you were never leaving the sideline again. Is that maybe an indication of what you're going to do Sunday?
Yeah, we'll see. Still talking about it with DA.
Sure.
We often hear you guys talk about things being vanilla. We say things are vanilla. Like, how much do you actually show during the preseason of your offense, and what do you decide? Like, how do you decide what to keep under wraps?
I think that's a discussion we have with our coaches. At the end of the day, we're trying to go evaluate players. So I don't think you give them massive game plans throughout the preseason, because you're still competing every day against the defense, and you got maybe a day and a half to get ready for a preseason game. So yeah, you definitely don't want to maybe show your best stuff, and those are conversations that happen throughout the week, with DA and with our offensive coaching staff.
What are you looking forward to most week 1, first game, in the regular season at the Dome?
Yeah.
Hopefully winning. Hopefully he's looking forward to winning. I don't know if he gets a lunch break, but Dome dogs, no condiments, is always the way to go. And that's controversial yet brave. That might be an advanced tactic, okay? But Remember, guys, if you're going to the Dome and you're getting Dome dogs, don't load it up with mustard. Don't load it up with ketchup. Don't do any of that stuff. Go dry. Go straight up. Just au naturel. Bun, sausage, pause. That could have been a big pause. And that's it. And then just get it down and get on back to the seats, okay? Every second you spent pumping the mustard, pumping the ketchup, that's time wasted. You should be all 22 in, as far as I'm concerned. And another thing, is it better tasting with no condiments? Obviously not. It does not taste good with no condiments. But it's my sacrifice. That's my sacrifice creed style. That's my sacrifice to the team that shows that I'm willing to go the extra mile. I'm willing to put myself into a state of discomfort because that's what I'm willing to do for them. And if I'm willing to do that in the stands, they should be willing to do that on the field. So I'm staying hungry, metaphorically and literally, because I mean there's some games I've eaten four plus Dome dogs just to try and get the right juju, get the right voodoo going. You know, if I eat a couple Dome dogs and we're scoring, all of a sudden the game's tied, I might go get a couple more Dome dogs just to get the scoring going on again. Okay, so if that's something that Kubiak could be looking forward to. Now, I certainly wouldn't advocate for this, but if he did want to wet the whistle a little bit, Bloody Mary. Obviously, you go double premium. This is New Orleans, okay? This isn't Minnesota anymore. This isn't Denver. You're going to have to hit it. You're going to have to hit it hard. You go double premium. You tip a little heavy on the first one so they understand you mean business, and maybe that double premium turns into almost a triple premium, you know what I'm saying? And then you go bloody, depends on your GERD levels, depend on your heartburn, how much you can handle. Maximum, I would say 2. Let's not get crazy here, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a long day. So you go first game, you may get out over your skis a little bit. You go two bloodies, double preems, knock those down pre-game as you're really breaking things down, really looking at the numbers, watching my videos, obviously, right there in the concourse. Then you're on to the Crown and Sprite or Crown and Soda. It's up to you, but it's Crown. That's the drink of choice. It's got to be no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So you go Crown and Soda. If you're like me and you're trying to not use the sugar, not let the corn syrup into your body, so you just go straight up club soda. Again, I'm not there for the taste. Okay, boom, you're going Crown and Sodas. Try and keep it to about one a quarter. If it's your first time, if you're not trying to do anything crazy. So you do that. Next thing you know, you can supplement with Dome Dogs if you're hungry. Maybe supplement with some pecans, whatever. If we win, you're walking home. What do you see? Probably half a dozen fentanyl-laced coolers of beer on the sidewalk. They're half drank. There's no telling how old those beers are. I drank one last year. It was a Michelob Ultra. It was one of those aluminum bottles that had like the national championship thing on the side of it. It's Florida national championship. What's that? 2012, right? So it is what it is. Whatever's in the ice chest. Don't try and negotiate. Don't try and whatever they tell you, pay for it. Keep it walking. Again, is it lukewarm? Again, is it even beer? Who the hell knows? Okay, so that's what I would look forward to if I was you, Klint Kubiak. Depending on how you want to roll.
I mean, it's a 17 sprint marathon. So we're just looking forward to coming out and practicing again in the red zone tomorrow and getting better. And if you don't have that mindset, you drive yourself crazy. So we just gotta focus on getting better every day. And that's an old cliche, but it's important. It is what it is.
No
doubt. We got a lot of football ahead of us, and just take it one game at a time.
This might be an obvious question, but Derek was talking about this yesterday. It feels like you both trust each other in terms of you're going to ask him to do something, and you trust he's going to do it a certain way. And how important is that level of trust with the quarterback in terms of play call or offense in your system?
Yeah, that's a really important part of the relationship, and he makes it really easy because of
I trust him.
Just how good of a person he is, how hard he works.
I trust him with my life.
How detailed he is. So that part's been really seamless, and I've enjoyed working with him.
Do you feel like you've been able to take some things off his plate this summer, just how the games will go to make him more efficient?
Yeah, that's a good question. Took him a second to get there, but yeah, I think a lot of people last year were kind of harping on the fact that Carr might adjust the plays at the line, which is why there would be some miscommunication with his teammates. But the reason he was probably having to do that is because Pete Carmichael was drawing up the plays on an Etch-a-Sketch. So If the plays are better and Carr has more trust in the plays and Carr doesn't have to do as much at the line, then yeah, it is taking more off of his plate, and he doesn't have to worry about that side of the game. He can just worry about implementing the offense and being efficient.
Yeah, I want to keep loading his plate up because he can handle so much. So there's nothing that he can't handle, but it's a team game, and it's about what our team can handle. It's not just the quarterback. It's offensive line, it's our tight ends, it's our running backs, receivers. So it's not just about him. It's about everybody, and he knows that. And so I'll always have the team in mind first.
Right, but I guess are there things that you can do to, like, I guess just shift the priorities elsewhere? Like, if you do, you get what I'm asking?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Jesus Christ. I mean, I might need to call LSU or Tulane or somewhere and see if I can teach a journalism class. I mean, this guy has a full-scale meltdown in the front row. Full-scale meltdown. Mans is a reporter, melted down, and it had to ask the person he's interviewing, you know what I'm trying to ask, right? It's like, brother, no, you are the one interviewing me. You have a notepad in your hand. What the hell? It's week 1. I mean, damn, that was crazy to watch. What he's asking is what I said, is basically like, by being efficient, by calling the right plays, by understanding the situation, by reading the defense properly, all that stuff, you can call plays and you can do that Carr doesn't have to basically like check your work. Carr can just boom, 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 be efficient, get in and out of the huddle, execute the play, and not worry about if this is the right play, checking in and checking out. And that's going to happen. That'll happen because the defense will check in and out, and then Carr may respond to it. So you're never fully, like, Kubiak could kind of take it off his plate, but if that's just how Carr operates, and that's how they're comfortable operating, and Kubiak has trust in Carr to continue doing that, like Kubiak said, I might not want to take that off of his plate. Yeah.
I think it's always important that we narrow our players' focus, and that's something that we really strive for as coaches. And you're not going to go into one game with 700 play game plan. You got to pare it down and talk about what you're going to do, what you're going to focus on, so that the players can have a laser sharp focus on the certain looks they're going to get from these number of plays.
How do you feel like Trevor Penning's progress throughout the offseason and where he's at going forward?
Yeah, I think he's, again, I've said this every time, and I mean it. Like, he's doing everything we've asked him to do.
That's not what you want to hear. I was interested to see what he would say, because you got to be careful there. You can't say full faith in him 100%. He's the best player we've ever seen. No doubt about it. Because if he gets dog walked in the first quarter and they end up benching him, that's going to come back and not look very good. So you got to be careful. Now, you don't want to hear the first thing that come out of Kubiak's mouth is, well, I mean, Penning's done everything we've asked him to. It's like, well, that's not exactly the most like support I've ever heard for a player.
He's a super coachable guy, and he's had some really good practices, and a lot can be said about where he started and where he's come from. And I'm really proud to get to coach Trevor and Rick Dennison and John Benton, and those guys have done a phenomenal job with him and with the whole offensive line. But he's earned the right to go out there and play really well on Sunday, and I'm looking forward to go and seeing what he does. But it's a 5-man show up there, and it's all 5 working together. It's not just him.
Hey, Clint, do you believe in load management as a play caller? Do you take that into consideration, say, touches, injury history for certain players? I mean, is there a magic number you want to get to on carries and touches?
So I think the knee-jerk reaction here is to say no. Like, as a fan, you want to be like, no, load management is week 1. What are you talking about? But you do have to factor in, like, what players are coming off of an injury, what players didn't play that much in the preseason. You do need to have some kind of a gauge of, like, you don't want to ask Alvin Kamara to carry the ball 35 times in this game. So you do need to kind of understand, like, okay, we're at like that 15 carry mark. Like, now do I need to bring different personnel groups in? Do I need to give Taysom touches? Like, how can I spread this out instead of just head down, barreling through and jeopardizing a player, whether if they're not fully fit, as they would say in soccer, or if they are nursing an injury or trying, So it's easy to be like, to hear load management and to feel kind of like, I don't want to hear that. But practically, I think you do have to kind of take that into consideration.
I think it's a good problem to have when you got to give plenty of guys touches, and I think we have that problem. So we got a lot of guys that are worthy of the ball. But as far as the game, yeah, to an extent, but we better go give our best players the ball early and often, and whoever has a hot hand, keep riding them.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that too, where it's like I'm not worried about it to the extent that where I'll jeopardize the game to make sure that blank targets are met. But, if I don't have to stretch a player thin on their workload, I'm not going to. So, I mean, I agree with them there. Good interview. Good interview. The pinning question was definitely the most like, answer. But I'm ready. And Kubiak's beard says he's ready. Looks untrimmed, looks unkempt, and I like that. Looks like he's been sleeping in the film room. Makes two of us. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm fired up. I am fired up, and I hope you're fired up too. It's game day, or it's game weekend, whenever you're watching this. I'm thrilled, and I hope we are talking about a win all week next week, because if we're talking about a loss, oh man, I'm going to be in a bad way. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next video.